What is the creepiest unexplained thing you have ever come across on the internet? When I was a kid, I had some serial at a website to visit to enter to win some prize or something. I don't remember the specifics. Anyway, when I entered that site into my computer, it didn't take me to some kid-friendly site or anything. It took me to a blank white page with just the text, "We have been watching you." This happened when I used to play Minecraft a lot back in like 2013 to 2014. I was with a friend on Skype and was trying to find other people to join to play a game in the lobby, and I asked this one guy if he wanted to join. He gives me his Skype and my friend and I add him. Then he starts inviting us to a video call and only one of us could join. My friend joined and started screen sharing, and this guy, who was probably like 12 or 13, was laying on his bed naked and had tied his legs and an arm to the bedposts and started jacking off. After that, I stopped inviting random people to Skype. Someone somehow guessed my name correctly in a 4chan thread. I didn't even give any clue to who I was. Still don't know who or how they did it. I Jacob. So we meet again. Was casually surfing when I stumbled upon a video of a guy doing shotgun loading tutorials or something. The video was cut off and he was speaking another language and the gun accidentally went off and he blew his head clean off. I don't remember the website name or anything. I was just surfing funny videos to pass the time when I saw this. The amount of blood that went flying everywhere was horrible. I was just 11 when I saw this, so it practically scarred me bad. It still chills me when I think about it. A lady on Gay Online got mad at me in Chatterbox. So she went on my profile and spammed it with gifs of someone beating a dog to death with a shovel. I remember seeing the first one and crying a lot because at the time I was like 11 or 12. She sent like 10 before I got her blocked and later banned. I had to manually delete each comment from my public profile. Each gif was from a different point in the same video. It was really sad and I didn't go back onto my PC for a long time. This isn't the internet but more on a call. I was on a call with my girlfriend who was in Germany at that time, early 2019, when suddenly she seemed to be repeating what she was saying from a while back. I got confused and was trying to ask her why she was repeating herself before I realized that her voice was being looped back. I didn't realize the loop point or how far back it was, but she was clearly saying the same lines as she did before. And I hung up and called her back. She asked me why I hung up on her and didn't call me back. Then during the second call, it happened again after 3 minutes. I've never been able to explain why this happened and has never occurred again before or since. Definitely gave me the creeps and more than a few thoughts that I was living in a simulation. The time 4chan figured out how to get into the White House's network warning system. Edit. Context. Okay. So post 9/11. The thread said that there are these phone systems that are IP phones set up throughout that government and they can be called during an event. The number is automated and a woman's voice will start reciting numbers and phrases, indicating instructions to the person who was given the number to begin with. Usually things like orange. Orange. Orange 5. 3. 1. I found out about it because someone posted it in 2011-2012 or so. It was just the number and a picture of the White House. Thread was also cross-posted on X in the thread. Someone started posting codes that actually worked and progressed people further into the automated system. I rang my mum on WhatsApp to do a video call. When she answered, it was a man with his shirt off. Middle-aged, 50s, with glasses on, sitting on a couch. It sort of looked like a hotel room. He had a foreign accent and said, "Yes? Hello? Who is this?" Full stop. I hung up immediately and rang my mum again and she picked up and she was on camera walking around near a pond. It was absolutely bizarre and has never happened again. Update. These theories about my mum having an affair or teleporting from this bloke's room to the pond are both salacious and hilarious. Keep them coming. The more outrageous the better. Naive me got into kids chat. Randomly got messaged by a guy asking if I want free toys. Childish me accepted. Then guy led me to a 4GB folder full of random dog photos. Scrolling down a bit further, there's a few zip files. Some photos were oversaturated than the rest. Others I can't even make out. Reminds me of some old creepypasta unnoped out. Lol, you fell for the puppy in the van trick and it wasn't even real puppies. Just pictures. So I decided to just type in something like com or something like it. Coca-Cola used to, or still does, own a they're all like that. But just the same letter maybe 13-15 times. Came to a choppy video of a movie called South 32. It was cryptic and edited to just say South 32 over and over again. For 4 hours. So I tried a different letter. Same thing. And another letter. Same thing. The same website popped up for maybe 20 different URLs in that type of sequence. I tried submitting it to the Internet Mysteries subreddit but it didn't gain any traction and I don't believe it works anymore. This must have been 4 years ago now. I was 12. Alone in my room. Casually browsing YouTube on my old laptop when suddenly a jump scare opens on a completely different tab on Chrome. I still remember my webcam's light blinking. Oh, you definitely got hacked by some dumbers there. Human beef. Com. I tried to find it on the Wayback Machine, to no avail. It was super creepy though. Edit. Ostensibly. A place to purchase meat, human meat. They had testimonials and photos, artistic renderings of processing employees wearing masks and of the final product. It's been over 20 years, 1998-ish, since I saw it. So my memory is a little faded. But I'm pretty sure the URL was human beef. Com. I remember the color scheme being white and turquoise. Anybody else remember it? Edit 2. I guess it was man beef. Com. Not human beef. Com. That said, according to a Hoax6boss registered sign website, it's now, quite unsurprisingly, PRN. I didn't verify. But you've been warned. In the post above this one I just read a 2-paragraph comment about how to properly seduce a female dolphin. I changed the email address attached to my Amazon account. A year later I forgot and tried to sign into my account with old email address. The same password worked but it was someone else's account. Name and address was different, and the guy hadn't bought anything. Why did he use my old email? It was unique to me and didn't match his name. And how did the password end up the same as mine? Our Amazon account was probably made public in a data dump. I modded Discord servers for a while. Users send you all sorts of shock stuff when you ban them. Typically just stuff like gay PRN that doesn't make me blink twice. One guy sent me a home video of someone being beheaded. I'm not sure if this has been explained, but I remember discovering a YouTube channel which went by the name of Robert Helpman. The channel has various videos of a body bag, seemingly with something inside of it, which is referred to as Daisy. I came across this when I was young. I read Kyle Odum's manifesto on here. Basically he was this mentally ill ex-marine who was convinced he was being telepathically manipulated by aliens. He believed their main hideout was in this church and he had to kill the leader to make it stop. He ended up firing an entire clip of hollow point bullets into the back of the preacher of that church. The preacher made a full recovery which was deemed a miracle and Kyle Odum was arrested throwing his manifesto across the White House fence. This is all a true story if you look him up. I was in a private call with a friend on Discord and then suddenly we heard someone saying like, "Hello? Anyone can hear me?" We both surprised and I'm 1000% sure there was only the two of us. Discord has been said to have serious security problems so I wouldn't be surprised if your FBI agent tuned in lol. Years ago in a similar post on Reddit someone shared a website of this mentally ill, homeless woman, formerly an engineer or dev, who lived in a tent in the woods that she had hidden. She had access to electricity and the internet. She had her own website and I believe even posted on Reddit. On her website she'd write about her sex life and all the crazy she'd done. I think the worst was when she willingly became the sex slave of some man. At some point he tied her up in his basement. And that man would invite his friends to come over to our pair. Eventually word gets around town and all sorts of men show up. Even some teenage boys. One thing I distinctly remember is she hated having her partners speak during sex. She posted a satellite photo of where her tent was and said if anyone could find her tent, they were welcome to come inside and her, but they couldn't say anything to her while they did it. Crazy stuff. Anyone remember this? A few days after we got an Alexa, my wife and I were playing around by asking it random questions to see what she'd say. We asked her to tell us a story. Without missing a beat, she said there is a disfigured child in the basement calling for help. There was a sub about methods of switching universes in the multiverse. The sub had a number in the sidebar and people would swear that they successfully switched universes because the number was different or a partner has a scar they didn't before. Stuff like that. Anyway, it just stopped. No word as to why. No nothing. Everyone just stopped posting and commenting all of a sudden. Sadly, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the sub. As a teenager looking for PRN, I stumbled across a website which looked like one of those live cam sites. But then I noticed most of the people weren't engaging with the audience. And they were all kinds of people. Old people. Kids. People of all different ages. Ethnicities and whatnot. I clicked on a random live stream of some oblivious teenager doing her homework and the people in the comments were saying stuff that made me realize she didn't know she was being live streamed. Nor did anyone else on the site. It seemed to be some weird website of hacked webcams or security cameras where the people had no idea about it. It was creepy as, and I've never kept my webcam pointed at me when not in use since. This happened last month. I was watching random stuff on YouTube when suddenly I started listening to guys talking with a calm music in the background. One of the guys had a strong Russian accent. They seemed to be playing something. I thought it was some IT video I opened, but it wasn't. I started to close everything until everything was closed. There was only Steam opened, but I wasn't in any voice chat or anything and no media was playing, like stream or anything like that. It seemed to be some private call I got in. So I closed Steam and the two guys talking stopped. So I guess somehow I got into a random Steam private voice call. I remember back in the day you could type in meet chat or something like that in the Google search bar and then hit the I am feeling lucky button. It would immediately bring up a page with a dude covered in poop. That I'm feeling lucky feature definitely left you feeling unlucky most of the time. I used to download movies using one of those illegal apps. I was a teenager. About 16. Perverts loved to title hardcore. Illegal PRN Disney titles. You never knew what you were going to get. Sometimes you'd get Disney movies. Sometimes you'd get edits with Disney intros and title cards. Then it would cut into PRN. I'll never forget the time I downloaded Goofy movie and it was a horse. A woman. It was awful. I remember I cried and deleted it immediately. I didn't tell anyone. You wouldn't download a car, and for months I expected the FBI to show up and arrest me. When I was a kid, 10-11 yo, and I was taking my first baby steps looking for PRN. I found a PRN website with bunch of women who were all missing their arms and legs. It was somewhat jarring that there were so many and I started wondering what had happened to them and if whoever was filming the stuff had taken their limbs. Haha. Kids be kids. Unless, it was probably an amputation fetish website or something. I think. Maybe. One night I was listening to music on my Alexa and playing Minecraft, then I turned off Minecraft and then my Alexa and set off to sleep. Then a few minutes later my Alexa glows a red light and plays a very loud static noise. It scared the out of me. That time I fell on a file hosting website with different videos claiming to be hidden cameras in various spots. It included stuff like Disneyland bathrooms and other stuff like this. I never downloaded a file to check if it was true verism, but I directly reported it to the authorities because if it's true stuff then it's really ed. This is a cool thread. I'll add that before Tumblr banned NSFW content. I used to see anorexia encouragement that consisted of ideal bodies and just horrible body dysmorphia. I followed a guy that did crack and saw jarring videos of someone smoking meth and doing cocaine immediately after. I saw one post of someone on heroin then doing Xanax. Absolutely terrible synergy BTW. They were being recorded and I just remember the eyes rolling back and flopping over. Tumblr was a strange place. I want to know if someone else ventured down there. Back around 2005. I had no clue how to use tampons. I was too embarrassed to ask anyone. So I decided to try searching the internet for help. I came across some forum where people were talking about sticking tampons up their butt. I was confused because I was sure tampons didn't go there. So I kept reading to find out more. Turns out it was a bunch of men sticking tampons up their butt because they liked the feeling of the tampon swimming around in there. When I was around 13, randomly came across a video on Facebook, shared by a FB friend, of a woman being decapitated. It was two men and the woman plus someone holding a camera. They explained that she wronged their gang in some way. I don't remember those details. And one man proceeded. I couldn't click away. I was so frozen in shock. I saw the whole thing. Her image is burned into my brain for life. When I see similar graphic scenes in movies or shows like GOT, I always picture her. May she R.I.E. I was surfing Imgur Newest about 4 years ago and came across a post that was a male body laying in a wooden area. The other people commenting on the post were also reporting it. The user had never posted anything else. So I reported the user and the post. The post was gone the next day and I made comments about it on Imgur every once in a while and my comments would always magically be deleted. So I guess I saw a real dead body and am not allowed to talk about it on Imgur. Damn it, when will I learn my damn lesson and stop browsing these threads? My girlfriend at the time texted me a link to a local news article involving a trial taking place that day. At the top of the article was a picture of my girlfriend sitting in the courtroom. I expressed surprise since she hadn't mentioned going to court. She definitely would have told me. And then in anticipation of it, asked me a bunch of questions. As I am in the legal field, she responded, "That's not me. We never did find out who it was." Edit. The woman who looked like my girlfriend was not the only person in the photo. She was not even the primary subject of the photo. She was sitting in the gallery with a number of other people. Back in the Imesh days when I was in college, 1999, I would download PRN and music. I'd set up the DLs and come back after class to see what new I had. Start browsing through the newly downloaded PRN. One short video with a generic description. Girl getting ed. Something like that. Open the video. Shoulder up shot of a man in 20s early 30s lying on the ground in what appears to be a forest. Suddenly a knife is plunged into his neck from the side and blood spurts out of his mouth and I can see the knife under the skin twisting. The expression on the man's face was shock and surprise. Maybe fair. It wasn't a fake head. Could have been a fake video. Didn't watch it again. I immediately closed the video and felt the urge to vomit and cry. I don't know if it was real or what. I was so scared. I deleted it and didn't tell anyone and uninstalled Imesh. I only pulled PRN from Pirate Bay after that. This was 20 years ago and I still remember. A guy eyeing a sea base. No joke. Wow, didn't know watching a fish get violated would score me all this karma and awards. Thanks. Animal Crossing players. : My GF and I have a private Minecraft world that we played by opening a LAN party using Hamachi when we lived away from each other. This requires the other player to enter the designated IP address and LAN code. Keep in mind the LAN code changed every time you play Minecraft to enter the multiplayer game. One day, we were on a call playing when we saw an unrecognized Gamertag join the game. We went dead silent out of shock, I think. We then saw him run across the grass toward us, so we both quit out immediately before he could chase us. It was pretty creepy even if it's just a video game. Something about the invasion was just off-putting. I worked with this dude named Jerry. He was a Mexican from Tijuana. He had a bunch of tattoos that looked like they were not done at a tattoo parlor, if you know what I mean. He was standing on the line one day. We worked in a kitchen, watching something on his phone. I went over and asked him what he was watching. He said it was a blog for ex-cartel members or gang members or something. He was watching a live stream of a bunch of guys getting their heads chopped off with machetes out in the desert somewhere. Yeah, I kinda stayed away from Jerry after that. I was browsing NSFW at work on 4chan and found a pic of what looked like a woman vacuum sealed in plastic. Image stays with me to this day. Ed up man. The videos are worse. I saw some videos of a woman who was vacuum sealed by two guys. Can't remember the site. Chaotic. Crazy or something. And they didn't cut her out of it until she'd almost suffocated. Like until she had no strength left and couldn't move, and they still waited a few seconds before cutting her out while the cameraman was screaming at them to cut her out. That was really rough. I was doing some background checks and a person came up with my last name as their first name. I have a pretty rare last name. And it's definitely not a normal first name. Then I discover they lived at the house I had bought some years back. Made me a bit uncomfortable but not entirely impossible. The part that freaked me out was that under their known aliases alternate names was my name. Exactly how I spell it. Edit. I worded this a bit poorly. This person lived in the house years prior to me according to records. I am the current owner of the house. Russia's Dollman case. Anatoly Moskvin. Edit. Since I see people replying their question whether or not they should look it up. Don't if you have a light stomach. To me, it's not as gruesome as other cases I've studied, but it's an interesting read for people who can and want to look into it. Still creepy though. Can I get like a TLDR for it? Stumbled across a video of a young kid, probably like 10, overdosing on heroin. Someone recorded a child banging needles into their arm and subsequently overdosing. I think it was Russian and the video was in black and white, I believe. I watched a lot of death videos, used to be a regular on our watch PRPD, but that video really traumatized me. Around age 13-14 I was on Omegle and came across this dude who looked exactly like Hagrid. He proceeded to step on a stool and hang himself. I immediately skipped, but it really ate with me. I'm almost certain it was a video loop. But why would that video exist? I was super careful on the internet after that and avoided most of the non-mainstream websites. 1. That's it. 2. Once stumbled upon a short video of a very old man taking on a screaming toddler that was tied down to a table. Noped out so hard. Based on a lot of comments on this post, I have come to the conclusion that you all watch way weirder PRN than I do. Bro, this entire thread is making me look behind me every 5 minutes. As a curious teen, I somehow ended up in that strange part of the internet called Best Gore, and the top video was of these 3 teenagers in Russia, England or somewhere. 2 of them were beating this homeless man's face in with a hammer. And then they shoved a screwdriver through his skull and pulled brain matter out. While the third member filmed it and gave an occasional face stomp. It was the first time I'd ever seen violence of that degree. That wasn't a movie. I like that video was actually taken down from the internet entirely. The man somehow survived it. And those kids were actually found and charged with manslaughter. Excuse me for my English please. Semicolon. When I was 8 years old, I used to play in flash games a lot. And when I explored different sites which contained these flash games, I found one. There was a game about attentiveness. There was a picture room which was very messed up. And in a few minutes a screamer appeared. I was so scared, so I shooted down the computer. By the way, I'm afraid of screamers even now. I'm 16. UPD. TW. Pedophilia and RP and drugs. I was part of a Save the Children group on FB. There's a forum, still active today and accessible, where pedophiles talk about children. I saw a form of a guy explaining how to drug a newborn child and an LLYRP the child. And another forum of a dad asking to RP his own daughter. This isn't sick. That needs to be shut down. What monsters? I've been on 4chan since 2007 to 2008. There has been some made up things there. Sadly X isn't creepypastas and spooky pictures anymore. Just mentally ill people enabling each other. It makes me really sad.